And they cut to him, and he goes, Missouri State was playing, and like just wouldn't stop moving around. Hi, I'm Alec McChesney.
And I'm Wyatt Wheeler.
Welcome back to Alec and Wyatt Weekly.
We are back in our studio where we are about to film. We are filming Alec, Gorillas versus Grizzlies.
So last week we ran a poll on who would win in a fight, Grizzlies versus Gorilla Bears. Oh my God, Grizzlies versus Gorilla Bears. We start. Jeez Louise. You guys spoke. What was the final word?
200 of you voted, and the verdict is 53% of you are wrong. The silverback gorilla, 53% of you think would beat a grizzly bear in a fight.
Which, by the way, is 100% correct, because a grizzly would lose in every way, shape, and form to gorilla. There's no way that it would even... There's no way... there we go. We're moving on. This past week, we moved to St. Louis for our show, where we covered Arch Madness. Unfortunately, I got stuck in an elevator for about 30 minutes.
I got a fun phone call while I'm sitting there waiting for the Missouri State game to start, and it's Alec, and he's stuck in an elevator.
There was a service elevator that took us from floor 1 to floor 5. As I'm about to touch floor 5, all of a sudden, it got stuck, fell down a few floors. I was stuck in there for about 30 minutes. It was one of the worst experiences I've ever had in my entire life.
We actually have footage of his experience on this elevator.
I put it live on Snapchat.
Roll the clip.
This might be my last video because I'm stuck in the elevator. So, it's a dope one though. Even got the basketball game, but shout out to everybody. Real though, like please no. This is kind of scary, so I'm freaking out, man. Go Blues though, LGB. Update, again, really quick, but I know that it's gonna take a little while, they said, to get me out of here. And I'm in between floors 3 and 4, just so you know. The people outside just laughed, so. I can hear them laughing, I don't know if you heard that, but, so that's a good sign, I hope. You ever wonder why things happen to me and not to you? Yeah, me too. If you're actually able to watch that, I'm not sure, but if you are, then I'm really happy. So, because it was embarrassing, and I was pretty close to peeing my pants.
Men's basketball, they lost in the semifinals. They beat Northern Iowa, so at least we got to see a win, cover a win, and then Wichita State. So
Friday night, they played Northern Iowa, the 3 seed, and to the surprise of many, they played really well. They were underdogs in the game, and they balled out. Alize Johnson had 20 points, 17 rebounds. What happened on Friday night?
They hit their free throws late. Jared Dixon, 10 for 10, in with less than 10 minutes left in the second half. Right. Hit them all. And they just made the plays that they needed to make to go on to the next round.
For a minute there, it kind of looked like they were finally reaching the potential that we thought they were going to have all year and potentially beat Wichita State, but obviously that didn't happen. What happened against Wichita?
Wichita State, they start out 12-2, and then Wichita State comes back, and now they're the champions of the Valley. They lost the game.
Yeah, so essentially what happened was, Missouri State got off to a good run. They were up 15-5, but then Wichita State just became too much. They've got too much depth. They've got too much talent. Missouri State just didn't hit enough shots. The important thing that happened this weekend was after the loss, plenty of people expected Paul Lusk to be fired, but he wasn't. Why wasn't he fired?
Story that I had originally wrote said Kyle Motes has decided to fire Paul Lusk.
Right. That was what was expected.
And then I did Control-Alt backspace, and a whole new story was there. But when you really dig deep into it, it makes sense.
Yeah. So essentially, it was the budget.
The budget. It was the budget.
Do you think a lot of the players returning had a big deal with that?
It's in there. You want a guy like Alize Johnson, NBA talent, to come back. It makes a lot of sense.
But people were really angry. I know we touched on this in our episode on Saturday night, but
a guy rather eat an iron hanger for 5 months than
watch another
basketball game.
Right. Well, another basketball game coached by Lusk. To be fair, you watch other basketball. I think that a lot of people are upset about this, but maybe they shouldn't be. Lusk has been able to bring in a ton of talent. Now he just needs to retain it for this summer, and they have to win the Missouri Valley next year. I think so. Would you say if they don't win the Missouri Valley next year, he has to be gone?
If you get in a championship game, it's hard to argue. It's hard to argue against somewhere you've not been in so long. So knocking on the door right there, Wichita State's of course if they're still in the conference, but if they lose a Wichita State championship, there's no problem.
So I can live with that.
I think people will be happy too. Yeah. So you play like the second best team. You get to be the second best team.
Right.
And then you see the monster that is Wichita State and hopefully get an NIT tournament invite. So
postseason basketball is a must next year for Lusk to be there.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's move on. Liza Freund is the best basketball player in
of all time
in the country. Liza
Michael
Freund
Jordan.
She scores 46 points against Drake, who's ranked 21st and 22nd in the country, and then they still lose. What happened?
Well, we were sitting there watching another press conference when we were at Arch Madness, and we look at our phones, and we're like, let's watch another game. So we pull up Liza Freund on our phones, and then we watch her hit 3 after 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 3.
It's the fourth most points scored by any female in college basketball this season, and the fifth most in Missouri State history for women's basketball.
When you're on a list up there with Jackie Stiles, maybe the greatest women's basketball player ever, you're on a pretty good list.
Missouri State, they sweep this weekend. What happened?
Jeremy Ironman hit a lot of home runs.
He's pretty good at baseball.
Jake Berger hit a clutch home run. Jeremy Ironman's also a National Player of the Week. So when you're the National Player of the Week, that means you're like better than everyone else in the country. So
shout out to Kevin Agee, who decided that Dongtown was going to be the name of Missouri State.
Hashtag Dongtown. Let's go.
This is a hot take, and you might disagree with it, but in my opinion, Jeremy Ironman, Jake Berger could be the best left side of the infield in all of the country.
Not a bad bet when they're hitting dongs like this. Yeah. Why not?
I think at the end of the year that those two have the best statistics, not only in the Missouri Valley, all of college baseball.
That's not a bad hot take to have.
Okay, so gorillas are better. Elevators are the worst. I'm never getting another one. Even on Glass Hall, I'm taking all 4 flights of stairs in my class tomorrow.
Don't want to take the stairs. I'll get in an elevator. If I get stuck, I get stuck. There's like the chute above where people can come in and get you. That'd be cool.
The Bears lost to Wichita State in the semifinals of basketball.
That did happen. I was there.
They decided not.
You were there as well. I don't know why you're talking about it still.
They decided to not fire Paul Lusk. Liza Freund is one of the best basketball players in the country and should be pre-MVC Player of the Year going into her senior season next year. Jeremy Ironman, Jake Berger,
best players of all time.
I think that they could be the best infield combination in all of the country.
I'll see why not. He is smart, this person to my left, and you were right.
That'll do it for this episode of Alec and Wyatt Weekly.
We might be back next week.
I hope
we are. I'm not. I'm just going to sit here. Is that good?